Anger is growing at China over COVID-19 and its apparent cover-up attempt. This is going to be an 18 to 24-month ordeal. The anger hasn't even started yet. And the anger hasn't even started yet. The death toll hasn't even started yet. African and South Asian numbers are only in stage 1 or 2 right now. China is about to face wrath of biblical proportions. Right now all resources and attention needs to be focused on controlling the pandemic, but afterwards this cannot be forgotten. China has doubled down at this point, so I have a feeling we're going to be learning things the hard way. Like how it's not just affecting older people with pre-existing conditions, but younger people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that are perfectly healthy. Latest stats show Italy surpassing China for the highest number of mortalities, but we all know China had more deaths than they claim. As soon as they shut Wuhan down, the world knew it was more serious than China was letting on. You see so many people on here commenting on how China did such a great job containing the virus, but in this article they say, the numbers could be off by a factor of 40, that's huge. So if they respond severely they're hiding something, if they don't they're being lazy and are allowing the virus to spread? China should be heavily criticized for how lax it has been in enforcing food safety standards in even massive urban metropolitan cities. But it still has had one of the most competent responses of any country so far. They want to sound powerful. They want to say they contained it. I'm sure they contained it to a point, but it'll never be contained until there is a cure or a treatment or a vaccine. They will slowly go back to work. Same thing will happen here. We will legally have to wear masks where we go. Temp checks wherever we go. That's normal life until it's fully taken care of. It sucks. I can't wait for normal life to go back. I like seeing that New York is flattening the curve. That's good to see. Good. And they reopen those wet markets, so not only are they not sorry they caused this, they are willing to do it again without a single consideration for the damage they've caused. If the wet markets don't get closed, we'll have another pandemic a decade from now. It has happened twice already. When will they learn their lesson? I like how these articles just keep saying the Chinese people. Could you at least direct the blame at their government? I'm in the States, but I don't want to be held responsible for all of the people this illiterate tangerine shitgibbon is gonna get killed. I mean, same principle. I agree. It should be the CCP, but maybe Reddit is afraid of the CCP too? Lol. Remember guys, we're upset at the Chinese government, not its people. The problem with the anti-Chinese sentiment is that people don't know the difference and it stirs up a lot of hate and racism. As a Chinese American, we've already been experiencing some of the worst bigotry possible for something we are not even remotely responsible for. Edit. To the people spamming my inbox with thoughtless racist remarks now that the thread is locked, that's cool. I knew this would happen, so I used my alt account. I feel like this is a Murdoch and AMP, intelligence agency lead task to unite the rest of the world against China. At the end of this pandemic, depending on how bad the economy tanks in the USA and UK, they will have lost their position as the world's #1 superpower. There are some that believe China misrepresenting their numbers by not reporting everyone who tested positive as okay because they weren't sick or exhibiting symptoms at the time of the test. Lots of pro-China around here. They're saying that the people weren't reported because they both weren't tested and didn't have symptoms. Which is the exact same scenario as every other country. No one has ever said not reporting positive cases is alright. Funny how they say in the article that Trump's team was first to call it the Chinese or Wuhan virus. But it was actually all the major news outlets in the US that did it first. Blaming and finding a scapegoat won't solve anything. We are forced to look upon ourselves and what we are doing in order to go forward or die. Embrace the change, not the anger. I can see why people are upset. I am upset as well. But honestly, blame your own governments. Most of the US and Europe had at least a month to prepare for this. And they just sat there twiddling their thumbs. This article makes some bold claims without any sources or other types of arguments to back up these claims. What makes this writer think there are 40x as many cases? If we're going to point fingers and accuse countries of lying, I need some more reasons to believe those claims. It was a UK study presented to Boris Johnson, I think? They believe China's cases are 15 to 40x greater than reported. Seems about right, to be honest. Italy seems to be underreporting deaths by 4x and they have a 10% death rate when it's more like 1%. Most countries are probably underreporting by 10, 20, 30, 40x. Though I can see the CCP or local governments hiding some data. Reading this thread get thousands of upvotes, awards and not get deleted. Then 5 days later, a teenager will say Reddit has an agenda for China and is owned by CCP. I mean, if things went right, or wrong, the one silver lining to this pandemic could be another Chinese revolution. How about another American revolution? Oh, I get it's China's fault that after 800k cases worldwide and 200k in the US you are still not taking it serious and still don't have a lockdown. It's China's fault you have a bunch of shithead politicians saying I don't want to sacrifice our economy. Got it all clear now. I'm definitely going to get downvoted to hell, but if you've never visited a developing country or places Wuhan, China, please refrain from talking shit about how they should get food. Not every place in the world has a fully stocked grocery store filled with chicken and steaks at your convenience like America. As a Chinese American, I'm hurt at how fast racism towards my family and other Asian Americans has come despite none of us having anything to do with this pandemic. Even if you think the CCP is to blame, spreading fear and hate against all Asians is just plain stupid and ignorant. Get angry at China all you want, if your country is suffering deeply from this virus is purely because of your government's lackluster response. Reading that the British government is upset over figures when they literally tried doing nothing as the initial plan is absolutely hilarious. I'm so worried this is going to boil over into something more. There was already so much tension between China and the US and other parts of the world. Especially with more of their questionable practices coming to light the past while. Trump is the type of guy who would say China owes the world a debt due to this or something. I could just see it.